Thank you, Steve. Let's remain in an attitude of prayer. Father, once again, we want to thank you. There is none like you. You are King of kings, Lord of lords, God of all gods. In you we live, in you we move, and in you we have our being. Father, we are who we are because of you. We stand, Father, this morning unashamed of the calling that you've given to us. Unashamed, Father, to be called children of the Most High God. Unashamed of our allegiance to you. Unashamed of our position in you. And Father, we want to thank you that you have given us a mandate. For even as you said, Father, this mandate that you give to us is one to rule, one to subdue, and one to have dominion. And so as your children within the ACDP, we come, Father, and we say, Lord, thank you for giving us this responsibility. Thank you for giving us this mandate. Thank you for giving us this political mountain, Father, where we will rule and subdue and have dominion. Father, we call even now those things that are not as though they are. And so, Father, as we see crime and corruption in our nation, Father, we call forth peace. Father, as we see, oh God, destruction in different sectors of our nation, Father, we call forth the peace of God that passes all understanding. Let Holy Spirit come, rule and reign. Father, your word declares the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and all they who dwell in it. We are your ambassadors. And as the ACDP, Father, we make ourselves available to you, your servants, in your hands. As you spoke, Father, to Daniel, Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego, as you spoke to Moses, as you spoke to Joseph, Father, we avail ourselves when the cry goes out to say, whom shall I send and who will go? Father, we thank you for the multitudes in South Africa, Father, who stand alongside the ACDP and that say, here am I, Father, send me. Here am I, send me. So we choose to obey you. Hallelujah. Let the government of South Africa be upon the shoulders of the body of Christ. And we thank you for it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Give our Deputy President a hand. You know, there's power here this morning. Something is happening in our nations when men and women of God come together in unison and in unity, standing for one thing, godly governance. Amen! 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 What we're going to do quickly, we just want to give you a couple of rules for this morning. Is that fine with you? We're going to ask you as ACDP, because we have a Christ-like spirit, that we do things in order this morning. And so we're going to ask you, we're going to be addressed by quite a number of our Premier-elect candidate, and also our President has arrived. Amen. And so he's coming very soon. Amen. So we're going to ask you to sit and soak in the manifesto that's going to be read out and given to us. We're going to ask you also to make use of all the lavatory facilities that's on the grounds, which is at your back, on my left and on the right. They are hygienically, for your purpose, clean. So please, we ask you to make use of that. And we're going to ask you not to run around unnecessarily, but to please absorb this day. We will be finished at 12:15 promptly. We're going to also ask every ACDP member that's here not to run to the back of the stage, as all the media and sound equipment is at the back and they're running their desk from there. Is that okay with you, ACDP? Is that okay with you, ACDP? Amen. Are you ready to give God more praise? Amen. We're going to call my brother to come. Give him a hand, bless him.
Come on, work with me. I can see some of you are still standing like this, some are still standing like this, some are still quiet and wondering what is happening. It is happening! South Africa to Jesus! South Africa to Jesus! Tata, ACDP, Tata! Now, this is what we're going to do. Our president will be joining us very soon. Before he comes onto the podium, I want you and me to learn only one song that we're going to sing for him as we usher him onto the podium. Is that okay? Is that sure? Is that sure? Okay, the song goes like this. There are some of you, they know it. Yes. It's Zulu, but in English it means ACDP agrees that we are taking over Parliament. Vuma, yeah, Vuma, ACDP. It is Tanzania, so get the Parliament. Okay? Yeah, Vuma, ACDP, so get the Parliament. Okay? Nina Mangiti Vuma, the same shall up. Okay? Vuma. Vuma. Okay? Three of you come to say, three, quickly. We must teach them. You jump quickly. Let's see that. Do you have another mic? Yeah, we can. Yeah, let's have another mic quickly. Vuma, yeah, Vuma, ACDP. Vuma, yeah, Vuma, ACDP. No, stop, guys. Listen. Vuma, yeah, Vuma, ACDP. Vuma, yeah, Vuma, ACDP. Yeah, Vuma, ACDP.
Oh, there you go. Images there from the election manifesto launch of the ACDP party that's in Kales River in the Western Cape, and we're busy monitoring the other one in the Eastern Cape where the UDM is due to launch its manifesto as well. But also developing is the story in Nigeria, and we're going to start finishing our conversation now with our two representatives of the two major...
Listen. Yeah, that's more issue. When we sing the song and the president comes on the stage, I want everybody with a flag. You lift it up, okay? You lift it up. Come on, let's see the flags. Hello, ACDP. Hello, ACDP. Tata, president of ACDP. Tata. Okay, you got the first song, eh? You got the first song. The second one is simple. The second one is very much like, okay? It's very much like. We just say, you can see somebody that is ACDP, eh? You can just see when somebody is what? Is ACDP. Now here how it goes. In Soto, Mutu Mona, you can see somebody that is an ACDP, okay? Mutu Mona, ACDP. Mutu Mona, ACDP. Mutu Mona, ACDP. Mutu Mona, ACDP. Mutu Mona, I can't hear you. You can do better than that. Almal. Now, in Zulu. It's English. In Afrikaans. Take it easy, slow. Lekker. Let's try this side. Meneer Astachen. Hey, Jelle. Die kant, ne? It's going to be Okay, verstaan jullie? Okay, let's get ready. Okay. We can do better than that. I want you to shout like that. You move the devil out of Kapstad. We are taking Kapstad. All right. Let's try it once more. You that same beer. You put a full stop, eh? Full stop. You say beer, full stop. 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 Oh, beer, full stop. Beer, full stop. Oh, beer, full stop. Oh, beer, full stop. Oh, beer, full stop. Come. Beer, full stop. You know, when we say full stop, we are saying nothing but ACDP. Nothing but ACDP. Let me hear whether you still remember the other song. Voma, ACDP. Voma, Voma, Tina City.
Izongene Parlamenta.
It's not.
It's still short, it's still less, it's still plain. Come on, guys. We can do this. We can do this.
Full stop.
Everybody on that side.
Okay, let's try that one. Not Pierre, full stop. Pierre, full stop. Okay. Again, quickly. When I do this, you full stop, all right? Let's try it again. Pierre. Jelle, daarachter. En kijk, ik zie Jelle, kom daar. Oké. Pierre! Kai, kappa, kai. Nale wena. Kai, kappa, kai. Kai, kappa, Let's explain it. I want people to understand what they're saying. Maybe sometimes they are saying this only to find that we told you the wrong thing. Hey? Our proclamation must be correct, all right? Wherever you go, we are with you, Dr. Kenneth Mishwe. Renaluena, we are with you. Okay? Dr. Kenneth Mishwe, our president, we are with you. Do we agree? Yeah. How many are with him here?
Everybody, you may be seated. I will talk to you for 3 minutes. Because of the live streaming, we got to play with time, so if you would appreciate that. But we should be finished here at 12:15. I want to say this to you as the chairperson of ACDP, that this is the 80% of Christians in South Africa beginning to arise. We are beginning to arise, I'm telling you, we're beginning to arise. This is the 87% of Christians beginning to arise. Now, you know, the Bible says, Proverbs 29, when the righteous are in power, when the righteous are in power, when the righteous are in power, there's a blessing that follows. And somebody says, Amen. You know, let me say this to you. The ANC has been the umbilical cord of the past. The DA and the other parties do not have the capacity to rule. The ACDP is the only party that is about, that could bring and can bring transformation in this country. Viva ACDP, viva! Yeah. That means long live, long live. But we must also understand this, that as a party, right now many are moving over to the ACDP, in the thousands. We can attest to that because we're seeing it here, we're seeing it in every province. Thousands are moving over. And I want to say this to you, that we must be big enough and mature to handle every type of personalities, every type of mannerism, because we are about to prevail. We are predicting in the Western Cape, we are predicting in the Western Cape to reach 65% this election. It's like a snowball picking up faster and faster and faster. And we are in for a big ACDP shock in the Western Cape. Tell the person next to you, say, you're in for a big ACDP shock in the Western Cape. Say a big shock. Don't be mild, but say a big shock. And I want to say to you that most Christians has been quiet. We've been tolerant. We've been okay. They've said things about Christians, and the Christians has been tolerant, but no more. Listen, no more. We've been tolerant when it comes to certain laws being passed. We've been tolerant when they say something about the churches. We've been tolerant when they say something about the pastors. We've been tolerant when they say something about Jesus. But let me tell you something, no more. Let me say one more thing. A nation, the true sense of a move of God, not revival. A revival only lasts for a few weeks or a few days or a few months. But a true transformation move of God is godly governance. You see, for too long, the church has been always, you know, the scripture says in Isaiah that the government will be upon his shoulders. We will begin a son and a child, but the government will be on his shoulders and will increase, Isaiah says. But the church has always concentrated, and believers has concentrated on the feet of the body. We've always trampled the devil. You see, the Bible says he's the head of the church. And the Bible says the government will increase on his shoulders. But do you know that the head is not part of the body? You are the body. So I'm part of the body. So guess what? The shoulders is part of the body. So the church, the Christians have always been concentrating on the feet. We put the devil under our feet. We were concentrating on the finger of God, the authority of God. We've concentrated on the heart of God, but never the shoulders of God. It's the time to concentrate on the shoulders of God. Say, I'm part of the shoulders of God. Say it one more time. Say, I'm part of the shoulders of God. So I want you to stand and get ready. We're going to welcome the president. Oh, yeah, Dingile. I want you to stand. Dingile is a pastor from Northwest.
Amen. Amen.
And he's a bit crazy. But this is one of the fiery pastors. I want all you to stand quickly. He's going to teach you a song to introduce the president. And the president will come and introduce also the premier-elect of the Western Cape. And then he'll do his manifesto, and then time will tell, and then we'll follow the proceedings thereafter. Listen, are you ready? Yeah! So I'm ready! Yeah! But I want you to lift up your hands quickly to heaven. We want to do something today. First time in a political rally. If you've got a hanky, have you got a hanky, a white hanky or something? Just do something. We're going to do something symbolic today. Do you know that if you cut out the Western Cape, it looks like a dove flying up? The Western Cape is the place of the Holy Spirit. Amen. So today I want to take a, ACDP flag, white, something white, what do you think? And we're going to wave it to heaven. And we're going to honor the presence of the Holy Spirit. We're going to honor the presence of Jesus. We're the only party that put the Bible above the Constitution. The only party that puts the Bible above the Constitution. And today we honor him. We say, Lord, we welcome your presence. We know only by your might, by your spirit, the church, the Christians, the believers will arise for godly governance in the Western Cape and South Africa. And somebody said, Amen!
Trap ANC en I'm van ACDP. Ons aan parlement. Tell it to your neighbor. Trap ANC en I'm van ACDP. Ons gaan Kom ons trap. Listen. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Kom ons try it. Trap ANC en I'm van ACDP. Ons gaan parlement. Trap, ANC en die naam van ACDP. Ons gaan parlement, ons gaan parlement toe. Ons gaan parlement toe. Ons gaan parlement toe. Parlement toe. Ons gaan. Kom ons gaan. Ons gaan parlement toe. What's hot parliament do I like it? Halala ACDP halala! Halala ACDP halala! Halala ACDP halala! Viva President Kenneth Bishop Viva! Forward the spirit of President Kenneth Bishop forward! Family President Kenneth Bishop family! Oh Michelle! In my Michelle is my president. My president. What's that? What? Is my president. What's that? My president. Oh, Michelle. Kenneth Michelle. He's my president. My president. He's my president. You know what? I'm not going to sing to this song. If you are not going to dance to it, I want to see those people who are going to lift up their legs. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. City, oh, Michelle. Oh, what's up? What's up? Oh, Michelle. What's up? He's my president. My president. Come on, let's sing for the president is coming. My president. My president. Everybody, let's clap hands. Oh, Michelle. Let's clap our hands. Hey, let me share. My president. He's my president. My president. I want to see Zulu dancers. He's my president. What's up? What's up? Here comes our father. Oh, my president. My president. It's my president. Everyone, come on. My president. Let me say, you know, oh, Michelle, hello, it's my president. My president. What's at the back? My president. My president. My president. Oh, Michelle. Oh, Michelle. Oh, Michelle. Oh, Michelle. It is my president. It's my president. Oh, my president. president,
my president,
my president.
oh, Michelle,
Oh, Michelle,
oh,
my president.
Michelle,
Oh, Michelle,
I love Michelle, it's my president, it's my president, it's my president, it's my president,
my president.
Michelle,
Oh, Michelle, my president.
Michelle,
Oh, Michelle, my
it's my president,
my president.
my president,
My
it's my president.
My president. So my president.
Yo, Michelle,
Oh, Michelle, oh, my president. Oh, Michelle, oh, my president. Yeah, my president. So my president.
my president,
My president.
my president,
My president.
oh, Michelle,
Oh, Michelle,
my president,
oh, my president.
oh, Michelle,
Oh, Michelle,
my president, what's that? It's my president,
my president.
my president,
My president.
my president, my president,
My
I see you,
president.
oh, Michelle,
Oh, Michelle, oh, my president. Oh, Michelle, oh, my president. My president, my president. My president. Oh, my president. My president. Oh, Michelle,
oh, Michelle,
my president. Oh, Michelle, my president. He's my president. Oh, my president. Yeah, she's my president. Oh, my president. Oh, my president. My president.
halala, President Kenneth Bishop, halala, halala, President Kenneth Bishop, halala, long live President Kenneth Bishop, long live, Amanda. No, say no.
On the far side.
Oh, Amanda. No. I repeat that. All power. How many of you knows that it's only Jesus who has the power? All power. All power. Huh? Sound I lost you. How many of you out there knows that it's only Jesus who has the power? All power. All power.
The Lord bless you. May be seated. It's definitely much better to be in Cape Town than to be in Gauteng. As Varam and Gauteng. Via Varam and Gauteng. But look how nice the weather the Lord has blessed us with today. So good to see you all. Greetings from my heart, from the hearts of people who love ACDP in the name of the Lord. Well, my turn to speak is coming. I'm not going to speak now. I want to introduce a handsome man. You need a handsome premier in Western Cape. So I'm going to introduce a handsome man, a hardworking man, a man who loves the Lord, a man who loves his people, a man who loves everybody. His name is, how many can guess? Shalom Christian is his name, and I'm asking you to please put your hands together. Let's welcome him as he's going to share a few things with us. Well,
good to be with all of you this morning. But I think the most important thing is, I want to say hello to the people of Cape Town. Honorable President and First Lady, members of the National Executive and their spouses, members of the PEC also from other provinces and their spouses, MPs and councillors, friends and family. It's good to be here today. Now I want to tell you that I want to thank the President and the NEC for affording me the opportunity to be the Premier candidate of the Western Cape. And this time we are not putting up a Premier candidate just for a show of it. We are serious because we believe we're going to govern. Let me tell you that it was our President Mesue that came and said, guys, we need a godly government. And we bought into that vision. With his bold leadership, he said, we need godly government so that Africa cannot go the way it's at the moment. So I want to tell you, May 2019, we will have in the Western Cape an ACDP government. And I want to tell you, people will think, but where does that come from? You know, years back, we started with a strategic plan. We started with a plan. And the by-elections that we are participating in are showing the results. Do you know that we were a 1% party? Do you know that 2017 we contested in a by-election and we had 1%? And we sat with a plan, when we worked the plan, and suddenly in November 2017 we jumped up to 1.5%. And then 2018 February, we jumped up to 4%. And then in George, November 2018, we went to 7%. And then December 2018, in Graawater, Cederberg, we jumped up to 12.9%. January this year, 2019, we had 20.5%. 20.5%. We are not a small party. We are not a small party. We are a real contender. And let me tell you, our predictions and our work and all of our strategic planning tells us that we will have 65% come 8 May 2019. We worked on a 52%. But God has given us all the favor. He's opened up the heavens and people is coming to the ACDP in their thousands. So Mr. President, I want to tell you that we're peaking in May. We're peaking at the right time. Because we cannot, and let me tell you, our officers are so busy. We had to get extra people just to capture new people coming in daily to the party. And I want to encourage those friends of ours and those members of ours. I was astonished the other day when I heard there's one lady walking door to door, writing up 80 people a day, one person, 80 people a day. Now let me tell you, as the Western Cape Premier, I will change a couple of things immediately when we take office. I don't know if you heard about this. But just recently, the DA passed a law to sell just the Western Cape, where the DA rules. They passed a law to sell alcohol at schools for fundraising. Sell alcohol and consume alcohol on school premises for fundraising. And you know, the majority of people, because we had so many public engagements and people said no. And they just did it to tick the boxes. Do you know, we've done some research, and 35% of our learners, this is shocking to know, 35% of our learners in grade 11 is consuming alcohol. And they're consuming alcohol by the dozens. And the Western Cape has got the highest number of children consuming alcohol in our schools. And you come and introduce a law to enhance the drinking of alcohol. We cannot allow that. That's one of the laws we're going to scrap when we're there to May 2019. Now let me tell you something else. I don't know if you know, but I need to tell you that if you want to do business when it comes to food with the Western Cape government, you must have a halal certificate. And the imam must come to your place of business to bless that business. That's one of the things, that is the requirements. So if you do not comply to their requirements, you do not get business. Christian business has told me they have to close down because they cannot do business with the Western Cape government. It's a fact. I took on the government on that, and they're still coming back. They're giving me big files to defend why they should only allow businesses when it comes to food. If you go, and I want to tell you, I want to make it real to you. If you go to Grooteskier Hospital, there's only one kitchen, and that's a halal kitchen. There's no other kitchen. I was on radio, you can check, on social media, I was all over, and I took them on, because it means that when I go to a hospital, I get halal foods. We will get rid of those things because they're discriminating against our Christians and other religions. Why should we submit to that? Because Christians have been quiet all the day long. And we're asking Christians to arise and make their voices heard. Do you know one of the things, and I think a lot of pastors here, one of the things that breaks my heart is when I drive to Cape Town and I see the homeless on the street. Government don't have a plan. Let me tell you, when the ACDP takes power, we will use the churches as our nodal points. Give them funding to help our people. We will help our people because they are the people that's putting us into power, and we ignore them when we're elected. Not so with the ACDP. We will take care of our people. So churches already, they've got the infrastructure. They're already doing the work. They just need us to help them, to assist them, to help our people, our poor people. Because you cannot believe it. How many people, how many churches we have, and how many people we have. If every church just commit to this vision, we will not have homeless people. Do you know that? We will not have homeless people. Do you know? Another thing that breaks my heart is when I see, just the other day, I sit on the education committee in the Western Cape Parliament, and just the other day there was a report again, how children at school still get raped. Their peers close the doors and they get raped. One day I reported to the MEC, Debbie Safer, and I said there was now another child raped because at this school you must use communal toilets. Boys and girls use the same toilet. I said, it cannot be. It cannot be. So all that I'm saying is that how can the DA government be serious about crime, and out of their 63 billion, they only spend 300 million towards crime. They're not serious about crime. But we as the ACDP, we are very serious about crime because we're not on the payrolls of drug lords and gangsters. We will arrest them, try them. Because we are not, I'm telling you, there's other political parties, their politicians are on the payrolls of gangsters and drug lords. We will get rid of them, we will face them, and we will get rid of crime. So let me just, my time is up. Let me just say to our pastors here, our loyal members and supporters, I want you, if you're a pastor, to go to your church and say, I heard something today that we must promote godly governance. I heard something today that the ACDP is no longer a smaller party. It's a party that's going to take over 2019. I want our members as writing and signing our people, I want you to continue because you'll be attacked because we stand for the truth. And the truth will set us free. We're not afraid of man. We're not afraid of a political party. Because we are driving a godly agenda. So help me, and help the ACDP so that we see a godly governance. So that I've got a couple of things to say, but I want to cut it down to say lastly, you know, our president, Reverend Kenneth Meswe, is a man that I admire, a man that I look up to, a man that speaks to me and mentors me, a man that when people say they don't believe in me, this man believes in me. When people talk bad about me, he will encourage me. And that is the leader that I'm looking up to. A leading leader that we hope that when all the provinces, I'm sure that our president will talk about other provinces. And we're planning 2019 also to have a godly government in the entire South Africa, because we need godly governance. So I want to introduce to you our president, the future president of South Africa. Do you believe that? Do you believe that? Do you believe that? It's a man with integrity. You can read about all political parties, but you cannot find anything against this man. This man has led this party for many years, and God has given him a vision. And he wants to give birth to this vision come 2019. So let us all stand and put our hands together for the future president of South Africa, Reverend Kenneth Meswe.
All power!
This is a great day. You may all be seated, and thank you so much for the warm welcome. To all those who are watching on television, we also want to greet you this morning in beautiful Cape Town and say to you, we have good news for you. And the good news is we are not going to continue sliding down as a nation. A turnaround is coming very, very soon. We are not going to be among those who said they know better than God, they can rule without Him. We say South Africa is in a mess today because of individuals and politicians who think that God does not know politics. And because we know that He knows everything, we are going to rule with Him under His leadership and make South Africa a great country. Well, as we all know, that 25 years have passed since the dawn of South Africa's democratic dispensation, with its promises of a better future for all of us. Yet today, we still face glaring injustices and inequality, and many of us still live below the poverty line with little hope of finding meaningful employment. We know that most South Africans feel unsafe. They are afraid of becoming the target of opportunistic criminals who do not fear the law. Now, this is one of the main criticisms that we have against the current government. We have criminals who don't fear the law. One of the promises I'll make is that when we finally have a godly government in this country, criminals will fear the law. We will be hard on criminals, and we will be soft and loving and cooperative to law-abiding citizens. It is time that we hold law-abiding citizens high and thank them for contributing to making South Africa a better country. But for those who continually break the law, we are not going to be your friends. We have to tell all the criminals in Cape Town, in Western Cape, and throughout South Africa that once the ACDP becomes the godly government, we are going to run to other places where you'll be allowed to torment people, to harass people. But here on Khanyele Now, we know that we are a political party based on biblical principles, and we do not apologize for that. We are based on biblical principles because we believe God knows more about governance and about people and about politics than all the politicians all over the world. So our dependence is upon Him. We want to make South Africa a model among nations of the world. That when people are touring the world, that they will look forward to going back home. And when they come home, that they will be saying, I'm going to a country that is giving all its inhabitants assurance that you are safe in safe South Africa. You cannot say it today, but we are hoping and aiming to do that one day. Now, obviously, depending on time, our manifesto speaks about 7 giants. Giants that are in the way of prosperity. Giants that are in the way of reconciliation. Giants that are on the way of growth, economic growth. Giants that are in the way of happiness and well-being. So the ACDP that knows about David, who put down Goliath, is facing these giants and saying, we are going to bring them all down. Now, the first giant I want to refer to is high unemployment and too few job opportunities. To build a South Africa where jobs and opportunities are in abundance, and everyone, especially our young people, benefit, the ACDP will do the following. Firstly, we'll create an enabling environment through infrastructure development, a professional and streamlined public service, good education and vocational training that is relevant to global trends and technological advances. Secondly, we will encourage beneficiation and global branding. We'll promote and foster a culture of entrepreneurship by funding education and training, as well as small business and business incubators. We want to have young people who, when they are in school, finishing their high school, that they will not be thinking about where to apply for a job. But we want to bring a new class of youngsters, high schoolers, who when they leave, because they shall have had vocational training, they shall have been skilled, that they will be talking about starting their own businesses. That is what we are going to do. Our education is going to focus on ensuring that our children are trained and a culture of entrepreneurship is fostered. We are going to link business needs with education. Do not just want to give children education that is not needed by business. That's why we have people who are qualified. And businesses are saying we can't employ them because they are not relevant to our needs. So this is some of the giants. The first giant that we are going to tackle as the ACDP, high unemployment. Young people will be able to start their own businesses. We are going to help them when they look forward to retiring from or getting out of high school, they will be knowing I'm going to start a business. I'm going to work for myself. You know, the national plan, development plan that we have in South Africa, says by 2030, 90% of businesses in South Africa must be made of small businesses. 90% of jobs must be created by small businesses. Now we are miles away from that because we are depending today on big business. If big business closes, the economy is going to collapse. The right thing to do is for the economy not just to be based and reliant on big business, but our economy must rely, and the National Development Plan says 90% on small businesses. Now, can you imagine if the South African economy relies on small businesses to thrive? How many people will not be in the street corners, but how many people will be in their small factories because they have their own businesses? So our goal is this national development plan of saying 90% of jobs must be created by small businesses. We are planning to do that. We are going to do that by ensuring that our young people in high schools are properly skilled. Our young people are linked. What they are taught is linked with the needs of businesses outside. Now, we are also going to expand the employment tax incentive for businesses. Say to them, if you provide internships to young people, then you're going to get a tax incentive or a tax deduction. And obviously those who are tired of giving all the taxes to government, they're going to say, I'd rather spend my money in helping young people, training young people. And that's what the ACDP wants to do. So this giant of unemployment, we are going to get it down. I say we're going to get it down. The second giant is poor economic growth. Our economy is not growing big enough. Our economy is not creating jobs. But South Africa, we believe, deserves a vibrant and healthy economy where jobs and opportunities are in abundance and everyone is able to benefit. Last night, when we went to where is the government village, it was dark. Yeah, it was dark. And obviously, if MPs are living in villages where there is no electricity, can you imagine what ordinary people are going through? I had to throw some vegetables that were in the fridge. How many people are inconvenienced by the Eskom crisis we have in South Africa? Now, Eskom, this crisis has become a major hindrance to economic growth. Because when the lights go off, small businesses are crippled. They can't do anything. At least big business, some of them have generators. But how many people have generators? And those who do not have generators are suffering. No income, no food. And so we are saying the government, the present government, starting from the president, have to take responsibility for what is happening. We must demand that they take responsibility. When I spoke in Parliament the other day, referring to Eskom crisis, responding to the President's State of the Nation address, I suggested to the President to apologize to the nation for what we are going through right now. He didn't accept it. He didn't apologize. But we're going to come back to that. You know that load shedding sends a negative message to potential investors who are concerned about the loss of production, time, and revenue. If you are able to invest in South Africa or in any country, and you realize that the country you want to invest has erratic electricity, sometimes on, sometimes off, and many times you don't even know for how long, how many would invest in such a country. We in the ACDP were surprised when President Ramaphosa said he was angry and shocked at the crisis. And we asked the question, President, where do you live? Traveling all over the world where there is electricity. And saying he's surprised and shocked and angry that there is no electricity in South Africa. Now, we reminded the President, and we want to remind him again, and the people of South Africa, particularly the voters, want to remind them that President Ramaphosa was involved with Eskom since 2014. And he chaired the ESCOM war room at the height of state capture. So, in our view, President Ramaphosa is not accepting political responsibility for the crisis we are in. The ANC, I'm sure some of you have heard, that they are blaming sabotage. Actually, I thought they were going to say third force. They used to blame third force for everything. Now it's no more third force. They are saying sabotage. But we believe the ANC itself has sabotaged ESCOM. It is the ANC itself that has sabotaged what used to be a global power utility over the years that was highly respected. They also have sabotaged ESCOM by enabling industrial scale looting and plundering by the Guptas and their families and their friends. So we again are saying President Ramaphosa and the ANC must be held accountable for aiding and abating the ESCOM meltdown. As you are voters, and as I'm a voter, and as millions of voters are watching and listening, most of them, if not all of them, will tell you they are tired of living in darkness. They are tired of throwing out food that has gone stale because the fridge has gone off. They are tired of losing electronic equipment because a lot of TVs and others are breaking. And government is not doing anything to refund or to help. So we are tired of that. And so we are saying to South Africans who are tired, are you tired? So if we are all tired of load shedding and tired of food that gets lost, then we must say we want change. I say we must say we want change. Can you all say we want change? We want change. Now, we want change now. The 8th of May, tell your friends, tell your neighbors that we are tired. We want change. Now, I can assure you, if we do not vote the ANC out of government, then load shedding is going to remain with us for many years to come. Now, if we don't want it, they cost it. We have heard some of the leaders say, we acknowledge our mistakes, give us chance to rectify our mistakes. Friends, they were given 25 years. They were given 25 years. I was surprised the other day I was driving in our town in Boksburg. I hit a bad pothole in the city center. Our city centers never used to have potholes. Infrastructure is collapsing. A number of buildings have tasted paint in the 90s. Wat gaan aan mensen? There has to be what? Now, we also want to remind South Africans, particularly Christians that have been under and supporting the ANC. Proverbs chapter 29 verse 2 says, when the righteous are in authority, people rejoice. And when the wicked rule, people mourn. Now, obviously, I'm not from Cape Town, so I want to ask the Cape Townians a question. Are the people of Cape Town celebrating, rejoicing, or mourning? Be honest. Be honest. Are the people mourning? Now, if If we want rejoicing in Cape Town, we want rejoicing in Western Cape, we want rejoicing in South Africa, what must happen? What must happen? The righteous must be in authority. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time to start saying 25 years is too long. 25 years is too long. We want to make sure that our children and grandchildren grow up in a country where they will not fear to walk in the streets. Our children must grow up in a country where parents would relax when they are playing even in the streets, knowing that our children are safe. But that is not the case, unfortunately. So we are saying because people are not celebrating, they are not rejoicing, but they are mourning. It is time for change. It is time for change. And obviously, we want to get the ruling party that has been given opportunity, 25 years opportunity, we want to get them out. You agree with me? Now, the last thing maybe I must say about ESCOM. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, that in 2001, ESCOM was named the Financial Times Power Company of the Year at the Global Energy Award ceremony in New York. 2001, ESCOM was the best. Now, what happened? All right? Now, some are saying Guptas. It's not only the Guptas. It's not only the Guptas. Now, here is another problem that I want to tell you about. Here is another problem I want to tell you about. I say obsession with race politics. Obsession with race politics is one of the reasons we have the mess with ESCOM. Why? Because some of the experienced white people, experienced engineers. Now, please, in the back of your mind, remember what I said to you. That in 2001, ESCOM won the Financial Times Power Company of the Year award. It was a global energy award. Other companies were represented, and ESCOM beat them all. That time, it was when we still had engineers that were experienced. And because of obsession with race politics, whiteys were replaced with darkies. Now, ladies and gentlemen, somebody said to me I should not use the word darky, it's not nice. Okay, those who are offended by darky, forgive me, I guess a darky. Because I am dark. I can call my wife, you look at her, she's what? Dark. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this thing called race politics is causing people to be denied opportunities because of the color of their skin. And ACDP does not agree with that. ACDP believes skills and experience, whether it is black people that have it, white people that have it, colored people that have it, Indians that have it, we want all the expertise of all South Africans. All experience of all South Africans. Can I have a skilled colored to come and stand with me quickly? You know you're skilled, you're colored, please come. Helena, is Helena skilled? Are you skilled? Can I have a skilled black person to come and stand with me? Black, 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 skilled. Can I have a skilled Indian? Skilled Indian, come. Now, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, yeah, sorry, my apology. White. Where's white? White. Okay. Is it Chinese? Where's the Chinese? Chinaman. Where's the Chinaman?
Yes, come. Yes, come stay here.
China. Now, ladies and gentlemen, if I ask you what skills they have, you are going to be surprised. Can I ask them? Can you please come? Let's start with you. Not a speech.
No.
Okay. Skill do you have?
HR.
Okay. Explain to those who don't know HR.
Human resources.
Human resources. Okay, thank you. She was white, human resources, Indian.
A doctorate in public administration.
Doctorate in public administration. Indian. Skill?
Police, ambulance, and security.
Police, ambulance, and security.
Professional project manager.
Professional project manager. Quickly, let's.
Manufacturing. Cleaning.
Manufacturing. Okay, wonderful.
3-degree psychometrist.
Wait. 3 degrees what?
And I'm a psychometrist.
And you are a psychometrist. Can you tell them what is psychometrist?
You do more the scientific part of psychology.
Now the Chinese. Chinaman. Okay.
I'm an ear, nose, and throat surgeon.
Ear, nose, and throat surgeon. He's a specialist. All right? Thank you very much. Give them a hand. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I was trying to make a point. We must move away from race politics. If I can say something on behalf of people on the ground don't care about the color of the person who brings them delivery. People want service delivery. They don't care the color. So, ANC that is so obsessed with color and everything on what? Obsessed with color and race politics. ACDP saying those days are over. We want colors to roll up their sleeves, knowing that I'm needed in South Africa. Indians to roll up their sleeves, knowing that I'm needed in South Africa. White people to roll up their sleeves, knowing that I'm needed in South Africa. One positive thing I heard the president say. He said they are talking to the skilled and experienced white people who left the country and they're in different parts of the world and asking them to come back. Come back to help. Now that's a good thing that we need to commend him for. But we must say, we hope you have learned the lesson. An expensive lesson. That people must not be treated according to the color of their skin. Apartheid treated us according to the color of our skin. Apartheid denied us opportunities because of the color of our skin. We do not want apartheid in reverse. We don't want it. That's why ACDP says every South African must have the right to contribute. Every South African who loves their country must have the right to say, I want my country to succeed and to be a model among nations of the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, as I try to land, because I only gave 2, time is flying, time is flying. Can we hold time, hold SABC? Time is flying. Okay, number 3, substandard education and skills development lack of skills is a challenge, a giant that we are facing. Substandard education. It is always painful to hear that when it comes to mathematics, science, literacy, South Africa is at the bottom. It is painful to hear that many of our children in grade 5 are battling to read intelligently. Some cannot read, some cannot write. Why? Because they are given substandard education. Now, ACDP wants to change that. One of the things we want to do is to adopt a world-class education system such as the Cambridge system. Now, people might ask, why do you talk about Cambridge system? You know, it has been established that Zimbabwe had the best education system on the African continent. Do you know that the majority of science and mathematics teachers in South Africa now are from Zimbabwe? So they had an excellent, now they are messed up. I don't talk about the now, but I talk about the education system they gave to their children. Very educated, very smart. Now, our government gave our children an inferior system. I learned when I was in Standard 1, I could read and write. Standard 1. I could read and write. And not only me, but many people in this place. So ACDP says we are going to adopt a world-class education system. We do not care where the system comes from. We want to give our children the best. We want the best for our children. Somebody asked me about what's happening in the schools regarding teaching prayers and teaching biblical teachings. Now, because we are Christians who understand that being taught, even scriptures in schools, taught us not to steal, taught us not to rape. Are children raped in the schools today? I'm asking a question. The Premier-elect spoke about that. Children are raped. There is no crime that's happening in society that's not happening in the schools. So we do not want to hide the fact that once we have a godly government, prayers and scriptures will be restored in the schools. We are going to reopen teacher training colleges, and we are going to ensure that we have sufficient teachers who teach children what is appropriate, including regarding sex education. We will teach our children that in the beginning, God created Adam and Eve, and not Adam and Steve. We are going to teach that to our children. And my time running out very fast. Let me close by saying another giant is escalating crime. Ladies and gentlemen, my wife and I and a few people from Gauteng a few years ago visited a city called Aziz in Brazil. 3 things that shocked me and made me pray that what I saw there I must see in South Africa in my lifetime. Number 1, whenever we left the meetings where we had church services to go to our residence, we always passed a city park. Almost every day, we saw women and children, 12 midnight, 1 a.m. in the city park. with no man inside. It became a shock seeing women in a city park 12 midnight. And we asked our host the question, is this not dangerous? Will they not be raped? And we were told, not in Aziz. We were told that those who want to rape can go to Rio de Janeiro, Sao Paulo, and other places, but not here. So I realized there are places where women and children are not raped. That was the first thing. Second thing that surprised us. Opposite our residence was a tavern or a shebeen. One Saturday morning, a man came with a push me before I go car. In the township, we call it Skorogoro. Push me before I go. So he came and parked this car in front of our residence, left the car idling, went across the road into the tavern. I looked at my watch. For 20 minutes he was drinking, and the car was standing idling in front of us. And we asked the host, won't this car be stolen? The answer was, not in Aziz. And then they asked us the question, are cars stolen in South Africa? We said, you know, in South Africa they steal cars, even those with gorilla, the steering wheel. They thought alles, car, gorilla, alles, elephant. And sometimes they take you also, right? That's South Africa. Elephant, alles. All right? Now, I saw, and I was in a place where cars was not stolen. Cars are not stolen. I asked myself a question, is it possible in South Africa? Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, if we have a godly government, I promise you, these things are going to come to an end. But let me tell you the third last thing that shocked us. The mayor hosted lunch for us a day before we left. And after he gave his speech, he said, any questions? My question to the mayor was, are there no poor people in Aziz? Because he said, why? Because we have poor people. I said, no, it's because since we came here, we never saw a street beggar. We never saw a homeless person. Don't you have poor people? The mayor said, we have them. And I asked, how do you deal with them? The mayor said, we operate from the premise that everybody has a family. So he said, we have a center where we take homeless people to for maximum 14 days. And he said, during those 14 days, they trace the family members of this person they found in the street. And when they find the family, they bring the family together with social workers and counsel the people, bring reconciliation. And if there is no food, they assist that family with food until they can find the job. I looked at that and said, wouldn't it be beautiful in South Africa not to have people sleeping in the streets, not to have people moving from one dustbin to the other? Ladies and gentlemen, South Africa is a wealthy country. There is enough for everybody. But we have too many thieves, we have too many looters, we have too many people, politicians who don't care. Now is the time to say we want change. Now is the time to say we want a godly government for South Africa. The Lord bless you. The Lord bless South Africa. Thank you very much.
All right, can we say before we go to change as ACDP? The Holy Spirit must come down and Africa will
All right, so we're going to start to leave those pictures. There's another launch that's taking place as well in the Eastern Cape, and we're crossing there shortly. But that was the Reverend Kenneth Meshwe, who's the leader of the ACDP, doing his party's launch in Kells River in the Western Cape. And he spoke at great length about what he sees as 7 huge giants that are preventing prosperity and growth in the country. And he spoke about 3 of them in particular, and he sees his party as the David who's going to bring down the Goliath of these giants. And he started with the high unemployment rate in the country, and that there are too few job opportunities. He said that his promise is his party will create an enabling environment, particularly for small businesses to thrive. He talked about
Amen. Come on, give the Lord a hand, will you, for that? Amen. We just wanted to stand quickly just for a few more minutes. You know, the president of the ACDP has talked about the 3 giants, and there's a manifesto. I don't know if you have the manifesto. We've got one on that talks about